Fuck it up if it's your birthday, bitch.
Welcome to Empaths Anonymous.
A space for dreamers, healers, and feelers, navigating the fine line between putting yourself first and holding space for others.
If you struggle with balancing your needs while still supporting your tribe, then you're in the right place.
Welcome to the support group. It's Danie's birthday.
Woo!
January 8th. 1/8. Bad
1/8.
bitches are born on 1/8.
Hell yeah. I would also like to say happy birthday to my birthday twin, Miss Cynthia Erivo, the best Cynthia to ever do it, which
True.
we really did think that it was Cynthia from Rugrats. We were wrong. It is, in fact, Cynthia Erivo. Because Cynthia from Rugrats is
sorry.
a bad bitch.
I don't know your Rugrats references.
Oh, that's right.
Is Cynthia the black friend?
No, that was Susie Carmichael. Cynthia was Angelica's toy.
Oh, the little Barbie with the
with the crazy hair.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. You guys, I wasn't allowed to watch Rugrats when I was little.
We're going to have to redeem that. We're going to have to watch some Rugrats now. So cheers.
Cheers
Yay.
to Danie on her birthday and Cynthia Erivo. And is there somebody else born on the 8th?
Who I love. Elvis.
Oh,
Honestly. Could I be in any better company? I mean, he wasn't a very decent person. He was a great artist, though.
yes. He did a lot for pop music, which I can appreciate. He also was a dreamboat. Like, let's just say that.
Gorgeous
But
boy.
as far as how he treated people,
Not good.
not great.
It's giving toxic Capricorn.
It is kind of giving like mommy issues.
Well.
Capricorn with mommy issues.
Well.
And like, yeah. And there are things that weren't his fault, you know? Like he was in an industry, he was like doing it for the first time. He was the first one to figure it out. So it's like all of the like drug issues and substance abuse and
That's true.
the excessive spending and stuff. Like he was the first person to really deal with that. There was the Beatles, but there's 4 of them. He was the
Yeah.
first solo artist to be huge like
really
that.
garner that much attention and
Yeah.
obsession, which we are here for. I often wonder, I don't know if it's just the sign who's inclined to it or just me, like my personality. But I often wonder with Capricorns, or I guess just speaking to myself as a Capricorn, I find myself really like fixated on something. It might just be a neurodivergent thing, but is it the same to feel obsessed with? Like Elvis knew that he had people that obsessed over him.
Yeah.
So did he enjoy that the same
He
way?
loved his fans. He was obsessed with his fans. Mm-hmm. Priscilla always said like she knew that he loved his fans more than he loved her.
Wow.
He loved being loved.
I saw a video of Louis Tomlinson the other day, speaking of fans, where he was in an interview and like,
Another Cap.
yeah, exactly. The interviewer was saying something about the Directioners, which I never called myself. I was just a big One Direction fan.
Yeah.
I just like, I'm not with I guess I'm just not with the names.
Me either.
I just I don't know. I don't need one.
And a
You
lot
know?
of artists don't like it.
Yeah.
Like Ariana's like, why do you guys call yourself Arianators? It sounds like you're saying like Ariana haters. She's like, I never endorsed this.
Yeah, that's like one of my least favorite. The Beehive I can deal with because it's like, it's a group.
It's a community.
It's a community. It's like,
It's not saying like we're bees.
yeah.
You know,
We're
we're in the
bees.
Beehive.
Yeah.
We're in the club. We're in the community.
In the club.
In the club.
In the club, we all
fam. Yeah.
But yeah, this is a special episode, obviously. And so being that it is still very much the beginning of 2025, Happy New Year.
Yeah, I was going to say Happy New Year. We haven't talked to you guys in 2 weeks. Yes, it's our first
Happy
episode
New
back.
Year.
It's our first episode back from our break.
Did you
We're
miss
back
us?
and refreshed.
We missed you.
Back and the girls are refreshed.
Kiss, kiss.
Ready for 2025, ready to kill it, fuck it up, and fuck it up for Danie's birthday.
Yes, we're about to do all of the things. I was actually born on a Wednesday, so just like lots of...
It's
lots
destined.
Of, yeah.
Wednesdays were destined to be the day.
I think so. I think it is. Did we say hi?
We didn't. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome back after our 2-week hiatus.
To Empaths Anonymous Podcast.
Absolutely. That.
My sash. We're all over.
Yeah, can
You
you tell
sure
that
this doesn't have alcohol?
It doesn't.
Okay.
Let's get into the cup.
Yeah, let's get into the cup.
what's in our cup.
Let's get into the cupsies.
Yes. Today we are drinking. It's called DeSoy Adaptogen-Rich Sparkling Non-Alcoholic Aperitif. It's called St. Moritz Rule. No. It's called St. Moritz Mule. It's pomegranate, cranberry, ginger, and rosemary. It has reishi in it. It has just a bunch of good shit. And, no glare this time. So, yeah, check it out. I got it at Sprouts.
I really like it.
I get everything. It's nice. It's like a nice little like holiday flavor. It says it's all natural, no artificial anything.
And we brought it's been a while since we've used our coupe glasses. I think the last time we brought them out was with Feminine Chaos.
Yeah.
Who we love and adore.
It was honestly the first and only time. Mm-hmm. We haven't been drinking as much. It's been an intentional push.
It has.
So, back with the coupe glasses. And yeah, that's what's in our cup. We're going to keep it short and simple because we just came back. I deleted apps off of my phone. So I am coming back refreshed, ready to kill the year. That's about it.
I'm ready to go too. I think I have a week left of break for school. And then I will start back up. I'm taking one extra class. So we're ramping up a little bit here. And I believe I will soon be finding out if I'm admitted to a couple of the colleges that I applied to for fall. So it's going to be a year. It's going to be a time. It's going to be a time for the pod as well. Lots of fun stuff planned. And I'm really excited to keep
just
going.
A time.
It's going to be really fun.
I want merch that says I'm having a time.
I'm having a time.
So we're going to jump right into it. We, of course, both turned 33. My birthday is a couple weeks before Danie's in December. I wasn't able to celebrate with you guys because it was during our break.
Yeah. So we're technically celebrating both of our birthdays for this episode. Since my birthday is actually today. That's why I'm wearing the sash.
Yeah. We're reflecting on our 32 years of life.
Yes.
But what we wanted to do to start is talk about the number 33 because it's a good one. It's supposed to be a good year. Everybody always says that it's kind of your glow up year. Mm-hmm. And there's some reasonings behind that.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that we both found. Actually, a lot of people refer to it as the Jesus year. Mm-hmm. That was the year that he did die. Yes.
Yeah, he performed most of his miracles and died at the age of 33. Mm-hmm. So it's known as the master number. It is a master number. So 11, 22, and 33 are master numbers. Oh. And they all are significant times in your life, supposedly. I don't know. I would have to think back to when I was 11 and 22.
Me too.
But 33 specifically is known as the master teacher.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, like we said, Jesus, 33. Islam believes that your soul enters heaven at 33. And 33 represents enlightenment in Buddhist thought.
Bye, soul.
Yeah.
Hey, go.
Take my soul.
Go.
Snatch my soul. You won't take my soul. Yeah.
Oh, baby.
It's the number of anything is possible if you just believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving that.
I will give you a cookie if you name all the references we make in this episode.
Absolutely.
We also found out that since it is a year that it's the master teacher year, that would coincide with a time of rebirth when we abandon old ways, basically learning from all the lessons that we've experienced in the past 32 years and open up ways to start new and start fresh.
Yeah.
So recognizing old patterns and not repeating them.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It really is like the glow up after your Saturn return. So you hit your Saturn return around 28, 29. It lasts 2.5 years. You come out of it and you're in the afterglow, which is what we kind of came out of. It's like all the systems in your life kind of fall. Like all the things that aren't meant to be there melt away. Mm-hmm. And so the universe kind of tests you. Did you learn the lesson? Are you waking up? Are you getting Saturn's are you getting what I'm laying down?
Because it's a lot.
You know?
She lays down a lot.
She lays down the law. She's kind of a little leather daddy, you know? She's like, I'm going to spank you and I'm going to give it to you good, but you're going to kind of like it.
Not Saturn being a leather daddy. It's crazy.
Shout out Maddie Murphy for that reference because she always calls Saturn the leather daddy.
Oh, really?
So I didn't come up with that. No. But
Oh, that's funny.
yeah. So then getting into like your 30s after your Saturn return is really like when you get that glow up and you're putting all those lessons you learned in your Saturn return into practice and reaping those benefits. I hope. Girl.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe. There's only
I
one way
affirm.
to go. You know what I mean?
And it's up.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
One interesting thing that I did read is that now I feel like it has kind of like a really like weird and strange connotation because all of the documentaries that came out about the twin flame service.
I know.
It's like it's still a concept. Like we don't have to completely throw it in the trash, right? Just
It
because
just kind of ruined the word for me.
it did. It's like now we have to think of a new word for other things. Like the other day I asked her like, what does it mean to be activated? And she's like, oh, it's just a new way to say triggered because people are triggered by the word triggered, which
Because of like
yes,
pew pew. You know,
yes.
I'm not even going to make the hand gesture, but you
Right.
guys know what I'm saying.
Correct.
What has a
what
trigger?
has one of those? Yeah. In twin flame relationships, the number 33 can signify a special connection and teamwork and encourage spiritual growth. So whether that be separate from your twin flame or with your twin flame, those two things can happen. So it's like a lot of collaboration. Newsflash, it does not have to be romantic relationship. Twin flames, I think, can technically exist anywhere and with anyone.
Yeah, a twin flame can be anyone in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It could even be like a family member.
Yeah.
Somebody
like,
sent in this lifetime you're supposed to find each other and like teach each other lessons.
yeah. Like I think my daughter is probably my twin flame.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of reflect.
Yeah. That's what's
Each
up for
other.
debate is can you have more than one? I don't think you can. I think you only have one.
You only have one.
It is like, it's because it's the person that you keep meeting in all your lifetimes. So you can't have multiple. It's one. You only have one.
One flame.
Yeah.
And they just keep, the flame will reignite
Yeah.
within every lifetime.
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this because I'm not a twin flame expert, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty
I
sure
didn't
you
look
can-
any
you can
information
only
up
have
about
one.
it because I just thought it was interesting, but I
Yeah.
didn't care enough about the whole like twin flame
Universe.
lore.
Yeah. 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 Also, we'll link all of the articles that we're referencing, but according to Medium, it is when we peak as a human in our physical and intellectual sectors. So basically 33 is as good as you're going to get. You know, like
I hope not.
I hope not, but I'm just saying like you're at your peak performance as far as physical and intellectual. Like I think you can still be hot and be 65, but I'm just saying like you're at your
Is it almost like, do they mean that in the sense of like realizing? I realize that I'm at my peak.
no, like think peak performance, like the best you'll ever be like physically. Best physical health, athleticism, sharpest in your mind.
Okay.
33.
But it doesn't go away, right? Can I just keep it?
I mean, I think a peak is like a mountain, you know?
I don't like
It's like
that.
the best that you will be. It's like you're like, and they're not saying this from a spiritual, like this is Medium. They're just talking about like physically
Okay.
your body. Like they're not saying like spiritually, emotionally, all of that.
Right.
They're just
not
saying,
as
like,
an entire person. Like it just
humans in general.
Yeah. The
peak
way it's
at
phrased.
33.
Yeah. The way it's phrased, I guess, makes me feel like it's not ever going to get better than that.
Well, it won't. Like you won't ever be physically as good as you are now.
Yeah. But I feel like I read it like overall, but they don't mean overall.
Yeah,
Like
I mean
mind,
physically
body,
and
soul.
intellectually. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. They're just thinking like your brain's capacity to like learn and understand knowledge and communicate, and then like your body's in the best form that it could be.
Huh.
You're fully developed. Let's say that. You're fully developed at 33.
Okay.
All the engines are firing as they should.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're full steam ahead.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I like that better.
Yeah. I know. Excuse me, Medium, we're rewriting your article. It also shows that we are the happiest at 33.
I do wonder about that one.
Mm-hmm. And Newsfeed said this, and I don't think that Newsfeed really subscribes to Saturn returns, but I think that it is because you're coming out of your Saturn return. Everything, all the bullshit has melted away, and so you're like, of course you can be happy now.
It's clarity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get that. Okay. That one I like. I don't rewrite that one.
We'll accept that. I will allow that one.
Yeah. Speaking of peaks, I did read that some astrology says that the planets mature at this age, giving you the peak benefits. So that technically would actually speak to coming out of your Saturn return, because then does that technically mean that if they're maturing, they're more in alignment, I guess?
I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know what that means.
Yeah, it's planets maturing. In what way? I guess I do have questions about that one.
Yeah. I don't know.
If any astrology girly wants to pop in on Spotify comments, which we now have access to fully,
absolutely,
please go ahead and do that and maybe try to explain what that means, or just let me know if that's a bunch of bullshit, because I'm down for that answer as well.
From my understanding, working with Maddie, like 95% of the shit about astrology on the internet is bullshit, unless it's coming from like a trusted source, like Time Passages or Cafe Astrology, like trusted astrology sources.
I suppose that's why it says some astrology. Just cut that out.
I'm like, what's some?
Yeah.
Also, there's like 5 different types of astrology. Right. So like, what? Yeah.
Some people say, who are they?
Like, that's what they're saying. Yeah, I've seen it. R.I.P. to the best meme of 2024, holding space for defying gravity.
And with that,
the gays, they're holding space.
I think we could get into our lessons now.
I think so. Let's get into it, because we do not want to be here for a long time.
No,
we're here for a good time, not a long time.
No, I have a cake to eat.
Yeah, we do. Let's show them. Let's show the feelers. We do have a cute little cake.
It's so cute.
Look at her. It's the perfect size.
The color of the sprinkles.
I know. It really scratches my brain.
Right?
It really does it for me. Look at how aesthetic that is.
It's very aesthetic.
So yeah,
middle schoolers say that, like, oh my god, that's aesthetic.
We went all out. We have drinks. We have cake.
We have lessons,
us, and that's all we need.
Period.
Start us off.
I will.
Birthday girl.
So we broke it down so that we're writing a few of the things. There's endless things that we've learned in 32 years, clearly.
Yeah, but these are the ones that like probably. They came to mind for a reason.
Overall,
they resonated.
Overarching. Yes. That's why I had it in my journal. I was going to do it in my notes, but I felt like the journal sparked a little bit more reflection and creativity.
Yeah.
And now it gets to live in here.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That is true.
What have I learned in 33 years, you ask? Kindness breeds health in ourselves and others. And I feel like it's overrated in the sense that people just say it. You need to be kind. You need to be kind. You need to be kind. Kindness,
right?
You know, but it's an underrated action. I don't think a lot of people actually practice it,
right?
Especially to ourselves.
Yeah. Period.
That's my first one.
My first lesson is, and this I learned in my 20s, and it kind of was like mind blowing for me, and it shouldn't have been, but it was. As somebody who struggled with a lot of anxiety for most of my 20s, no one is paying that close of attention to you in your life. You know?
I do.
Realizing that, I think I was like in my mid-20s, I'm like, wait, no one's watching me or like taking note. Like, I'm the only one that's being hypercritical of myself.
Yes.
Yeah. And when I learned that, my confidence went through the roof. Because I realized everybody is worried about their own shit.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own shit to deal with. They're not worried about my shit.
Yeah. Everyone's living in their own brain.
Mm-hmm.
And so how can you live in anyone else's brain, and therefore how can they live in yours?
Yeah.
So it's like all these like ruminating thoughts about being watched.
Right.
The spotlight that doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's like, just live your life.
Mm-hmm. And we do. My next lesson is experiencing a range of emotions is natural, as we talk about all the time on this podcast. And experiencing a range of emotions is natural, and sensitive is not a bad word. It is a compliment.
I feel like that's almost 2 lessons in one. Easter egg. You got a bonus Jonas there.
I love Franklin.
I know. We are a little bit obsessed with Franklin.
He's actually the best Jonas. Fight me.
Oh, that's controversial.
I don't care.
That is controversial.
I don't care. He minds his goddamn business.
He really does. What about Kevin Sr.?
Kevin Sr. is cool.
He seems like a homie.
He did write When You Look Me in the Eyes. And I have to say, top tier ballad.
Kevin Sr.?
Kevin Sr.,
The dad.
the daddy.
He wrote When
He
You
wrote
Look
it with
Me in
him.
the Eyes.
Yes, he did.
He has writing credits?
Yeah, he does.
That is so adorable.
Isn't
Stop.
it?
I've never known
Ask me
that.
about the fun fucking facts about the Jonas Brothers self-titled album, because a bitch was here for that for many years.
She was on the threads. She was in the chats.
I broke my iHome. Remember iHome?
Yeah.
I broke it because of how much I listened to it. Number one, in the shower. Don't do that. Like the steam ruined it.
Yeah.
And then full blast.
Mm-hmm. Aggressive.
40-minute long showers. Just like it sing.
Number 4 is people who only come around when they have time or when it's convenient for them, or they want something from you, are not your friends, you guys. They're energy leeches. And that took me a while to understand.
Mm-hmm. Energy vampires.
The back and forth. And the like, oh, well, like I bend over backwards for you, but you never check in on me. You never text me first. You never asked to hang out with me. Or you only hang out with me when you have no other options. That's not a friend. Get rid of them.
Get rid. I don't know what happened. I feel like I did eyebrow blindness today. They're just so dark. I'm just not
They
used
are
to
darker. Yeah, it's just you're not used to it. They don't look
I'm
bad,
not
but they
used
are
to it.
darker than normal. In person, they don't look like that. It might be the camera.
It could be. And you know what? It's my fault because I normally scrape the product off of the spoolie, and I didn't do it today because I was lazy. And look what happens. Another life lesson. Don't be lazy. My next life lesson is that my humor, I've learned, is one of my superpowers in helping make people feel comfortable. Especially when I can tell that they're feeling a little bit anxious or nervous.
Yeah.
I feel like I can use humor to kind of help dilute those feelings, or as a reminder that nothing's really that serious.
Right.
Even when it feels serious, everyone's kind of just pretending.
Yeah.
Everyone's pretending to know what they're doing. So I just make a joke about it, and we laugh, and we have a kiki, and then we all take a deep breath.
Yeah. Absolutely. Laughter laughter does heal the soul.
Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love. 6, don't let money hold you back from doing something you're passionate about. I try to live with no regrets, but I think the one regret that I have in life is I let my parents talk me out of studying abroad because it was going to be expensive. And I'm like, well, no shit. Yeah. But it's like I'm going to either graduate with 25K in debt or 40K in debt. Like, what's another 10K, 15K? Like, it's debt. I'm going to have school bills no matter what.
Yeah. I was also talked out of that.
Really?
Yep. I was going to go to Spain.
Same reason?
Yep.
I was going to go to Amsterdam.
And like, because it's scary and shit. No one's there.
I looked
Plenty
up.
of people are there. What do you mean?
I had a presentation. I looked it up, and it was the safest city in Europe.
Yeah.
And I did that on purpose. And they still were like, no, you shouldn't do it. It's too much money. And I'm like, now I'm looking back and I'm like, I would have never, ever had that experience again. Who knows how much more advanced and how more expanded my mind would have been living in another country at a young age. By myself, figuring shit out.
Yeah. One
Learning
of
a
my
different
friends did
culture.
it. She did a program for art history for her university in Italy. And she sent me postcards
Ooh.
from Italy. And it was like she was living with a host family.
Yeah.
So she lived in the fucking countryside.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Dude.
So yeah, that's just my own
That could
example.
be
But if there's
me.
anything in life that you're like, ugh, I'm really passionate about this. I really want to do this. It's just money is the only thing tying me back. Money comes
Borrow
and
it.
goes. Do the thing.
Do the thing.
There's always more money to be had.
Go to the place.
You can't replace the experience.
No, you can't. Especially at the age. I think it's really important to go at that age.
Oh, for sure.
When you are given those opportunities to study abroad. And typically they are given at less expensive costs because they understand that you're a student.
Yeah. And you can have a host family and there's different things that they do to help you. And then the rest your scholarship or financial aid covers. And it's like, when is that going to be available to you ever again in your life?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, don't
Okay.
let money hold you back.
This is an interesting one because I feel like growing up, I didn't have a very close connection to other children. And I say like growing up in between maybe the ages of like 11 to early to mid-teenage years, I thought that kids just did not like me, or innately, like, I just wasn't able to connect.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because maybe my childhood felt at times, not all the time, like I was a grown-up stuck in a kid's body,
Right.
having to make like certain choices. And so maybe I didn't quite understand childhood bliss in the way that maybe I was seeing it through other children experience that. But as I grew older and I became more aware of those things about myself and actually spent a lot more time with kids, I've learned that loving and nurturing them to experience their full selves may be the answer, or likely is the answer, to a lot of the division that we are currently experiencing. Speaking specifically to where we live in the US of A, and how it feels like you can say one thing and it's not even like I don't agree with you. It's like I don't agree with anything you've ever done or said. I'm never going to agree with anything because I disagree on this one thing with you. So this huge divide, which I feel like we talk about a lot on the podcast, I feel like it stems from a lot of people just not being able to be allowed to be their true and full selves without fear of judgment. So if we raise up a generation of kids who aren't afraid to do that, then I feel like they will grow into adults who love and respect one another, even when they disagree.
Yeah, that is a good point. Is your daughter Gen Alpha? Or is she the one after that?
Oh, I think she's on
Gen Beta. Is that what it is? Is that the next generation? Like, I don't know. I love Gen Z, but they are some of the most argumentative, mean bitches that I know. I posted a TikTok of my Ariana Grande album ranking, and they all came for me. And I'm like, it's an opinion on albums. I'm not saying this album was a shitty album. Literally. I don't like Sweetener that much. It was my least, like, I wasn't in it for that album. I wasn't listening to it when it came out. She was kind of going through some dark shit. That's like when Mac died and she got with, what's his face? The rebound guy.
Pete Davidson.
She got with Pete Davidson. It just wasn't a good time. And it also like is connected to me with bad memories. So I don't like that album.
Right. And that's okay.
And everyone comes for me for it. And I'm like,
why is Sweetener so low? Why is Sweetener so low?
yeah. So I'm not allowed to have an opinion, but you can come on my post and talk about your opinion. Okay. So I don't know. I feel like we are like raising generations that are very like expressive and like okay to have different opinions, and they're still mean as fuck.
Yeah, that's the point. It's like we don't have to be, but back to my first lesson, I don't have to be unkind when I'm telling you that I disagree with you.
Right.
I don't have to like disagree with you and then call you stupid fucking whore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I don't have to do any of that. I could just say, you know what? I actually don't agree with that point, but I respect that you have it.
Yeah.
As I have mine, and you respect that I have mine.
Agreed.
You are correct. Generation Alpha are the people born from years 2010 to 2025.
Okay. So wow, like up until now.
Yes. So we got a couple more years left until we meet the new generation.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully they will be going in the right direction. I guess we won't really know.
Yeah. It's like
for a while.
So my daughter is a part of the same generation that my middle schoolers are.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting.
That is.
She's just going to be a late. She's going to be a late.
She's towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Was that the rest of your lesson?
That's pretty much it. I was just reading these fun little facts. They're going to be digital natives due to growing up completely immersed in technology and globally connected because of the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Checks out.
Number 8, anxiety is not the enemy. It's actually your alarm system. I feel like a lot of us talk about our anxiety like it's our enemy instead of just realizing that you just have a more sensitive alarm system. That gets
tripped up a little easier.
It gets tripped up easier, you know, and it's trying to tell you something, you know? So it's like, don't fear the enemy, just embrace it.
That's true. When I set the alarm in my house, I trust it to do its job.
Exactly. I understand that anxiety can be crippling. I'm not trying to, what's the word?
Diminish or invalidate?
Yeah, I'm not trying to invalidate anyone who is like dealing with crippling anxiety. But I've just learned for myself that when I stopped making it the anxiety and when I stopped like labeling it my anxiety. It's like you're putting ownership to it. It's mine, you know? Mm-hmm. When I stopped doing that, it just didn't, it lost its power almost. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, a little bit of like a ring the bell moment.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on it to the point where it breeds panic.
Yeah.
And unrest, I guess, in your brain. It's more so just like okay, I am experiencing this and I feel like I need to listen.
Yeah.
And then respond. It's almost just like taking everything slowly. It's like, yes, when the alarm is tripped in your house, you're like, oh, what the fuck is going on? But you do kind of take a couple of seconds to assess.
Yeah.
What do I need to get? How can I prepare?
What's happening?
What do I need to grab? What's
right.
happening? What's going on? Do I just need to turn it off? Is this really cause for concern?
Right.
You know?
Assess.
Yeah. Assess the anxiety.
And be careful what you claim it as. I will say I'm feeling anxious, but I won't ever say my anxiety. Like, don't put ownership over your anxiety.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty natural.
Yeah.
But we don't realize that it carries a lot of power.
Yeah.
Okay, fair
And
enough.
I feel like that can go for any mental health, depression, OCD, ADHD, anything. I think that it helps to not label it and like personalize it.
My 9th lesson, I can't speak for her on this one because this is just funny. When you are removing a lid from a hot pot on a stove, you need to do it away from your body. And that would be a thank you to Mrs. Butler in my 6th grade home ec class. They're just things you never forget.
What's the significance of that?
Steam burns hurt like a motherfucker. So if you have a boiling pot of water,
Yeah.
right? And you open the lid this way towards your face, you can get a steam burn.
Right. I thought that was just common sense.
It's not.
Oh,
You want to know how my mom opens the lid? Not that way. She may not do it toward her face, but she does it up.
Oh, right.
And then I'll look at her and her glasses are foggy. I'm like, just one of those little motions.
Oh,
Some of us
okay.
are just silly geese.
That's true. I understand that.
And I just always remember that because she instilled the fear of God in me.
Yeah.
My teacher. Because she was like, if you get burned by steam, that'll be the worst burn you've ever had. And I'm like 11.
I believe it.
I'm like 11, like, okay. Also, I made a bomb ass omelet one time in that class.
Ooh.
A+.
I like that. That's a practical tip.
I gotta give the girlies some practical stuff. Just a quick little thing to. I don't know who's listening. You may not have taken Mrs. Butler's home ec class, but I did.
She did.
And I'm here to help
let you know.
Yeah.
Number 10 is a Crystal's Corner.
Crystal's Corner.
Oh, thank you.
Crystal's
I couldn't remember the jingle.
I think because I'm always wanting to sing.
Yeah. So growing up, my mom was always kind of anal about who I hung out with, who I had over, and who I was allowed to spend the night at. And in the moment, it was annoying because it felt like she never liked any of my friends. Right? There were 2 of my friends.
Like that did you ever feel like she didn't trust you, or was it always the other person?
It's always the friends.
Yeah.
And there were 2 of my friends in public school that she really loved. And they could do no wrong, and I could be at their house. No, like, it didn't matter, right? And they could come over, door was always open. But there were some of my friends that she just did not fuck with. And now as an adult, because she would always tell me that, like, the 3 closest friends to you are a reflection of who you are. So be really careful, like, who you associate with and call a close friend. And I'm like, okay, whatever, Mom. Right? And it would be really annoying because, like, there were some people that, like, she wouldn't let me sleep at their house. Or one time she had to come pick me up in the middle of the night because this girl in my class, her name was Amanda, her brother was super racist and basically said that, yeah, that he was, like, part of the KKK and that he was gonna, like, unalive me. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And that was a big I told you so moment for her, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. She's like, I never liked that Amanda girl. She always, like, her family just seems, like, dark.
Well,
She wasn't wrong. I was like, Mom, come pick me up.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah, I think I was in 6th or 7th grade.
He's going straight to hell.
Truly.
That's so
I don't even
crazy.
remember his name. He's so insignificant to my life. I don't even know that motherfucker's name anymore.
Right.
But he was, like, spending a lot of time thinking about me.
I guess.
Just say you're obsessed with me.
That's so evil.
I'm making light of it now, but it was very scary in the moment. So yeah, she always taught me that, and I really have come to understand that and know that that's true. Protecting your energy, and that the people that are closest to you, you really have to make sure are good-hearted people.
Yeah, it can be really difficult to understand that in the moment when someone's telling you can't do something that you want to go do because you just don't have a more advanced concept or understanding of the world that we're living in. And so you think that you're just going to go have fun and play and have a little kiki with your best friend. Meanwhile, other things are happening that our parents are a little bit more inclined to because they've been around.
Right.
You know? And so my mom was the same. If we get those two ladies in a room.
Truly.
That's it. It's over with. They will talk all day. There were so many places I could not go.
Yeah.
And there were, more often than not, the answer was no, I'm not spending the night anywhere. If they can come over here. That was always her answer. They can come over here if they want to, but you're not going over there. And I was like, God damn it.
It honestly, like, if I have kids, I'm going to be very careful about where they sleep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, being a mom now, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
There's
it's like
no
you don't
way.
want to deprive your kids of, like, having those moments.
Right.
And, like, the sleepovers and the birthday parties and things like that. But it's like, the world is just, there's crazy motherfuckers out there.
There are. And we learn that every single day.
Yeah.
I can go on my Citizen app right now and tell you where all the registered sex offenders are.
It's scary.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And even as I got older too, like high school, college, she would sometimes make comments. I'm like, can you stop hating on my goddamn friends? And then something would happen and I was no longer friends with that person anymore. And she was like, I just had a feeling about them.
They do. They always do.
Yeah.
They always do.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Good for Crystal. And that wraps up
Crystal's Corner.
Episode session of Crystal's Corner.
Crystal's Corner.
I couldn't even finish it. I loved the ad lib. Crystal's Corner. Are we on 11?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something in here. It's the mushrooms.
It is. Don't you feel very euphoric?
Mm-hmm.
You are the cause of my euphoria.
Number 11. Having expectations is a setup. Full stop.
Period.
And I mean that in every sense of the word. Having expectations of yourself, of other people, of a situation, of an event, of your life, of literally fill in the blank. It is a setup, and it is a setup for you to feel disappointed. If you just go into anything with like, I wonder what could happen. We could wonder what could happen, and we could think of all the possibilities. That's different than expecting a very specific outcome.
Right.
Because no matter what,
Right.
And I'm right. I wrote this down because it is one of the biggest life lessons ever, especially when I was young. And I thought that if I put effort into something, then I would get the outcome that I wanted.
Not necessarily, girlfriend.
Not necessarily. Because
Yeah.
it may not be the outcome that's for me.
Right.
Even though I think it is. And so,
Not to be confused with don't get excited about things.
not the same.
Very much do get excited.
Always be excited about things.
yeah.
I'm always excited about things. I think especially now knowing that I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I'm like, there's so many possibilities other than the one that maybe I prefer. I can prefer something to happen and take place. Like if I applied to SDSU, obviously I made that choice for a reason. I want to be in their psychology program. Mm-hmm. If I expect to be accepted into SDSU and I'm not, that would be a major disappointment for me. Instead of understanding where I'm at now and keeping my options open and pivoting when necessary. Mm-hmm. It's just constant, I think, throughout my life, having to pivot in that way and just be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Because it's happened so many times that it's like, imagine me being disappointed every single time. That's exhausting.
It really is. Okay, Marcelo. But yeah, I mean, that's
That
a
was
lesson.
actually Abraham, but I'll take Marcelo. I love Marcelo.
That's a lesson I'm still in the process of learning, because I'm somebody who has very high expectations of myself. Therefore, I also have high expectations of others, because I'm like, well, if I can do this and if I can hold myself to this level, then everybody else should be performing at that level too, you know? And then I'm just disappointed.
Mm-hmm. There are so many external factors that don't allow for people to to perform at that level.
People are in different stages of life. I'm not saying that I'm not allowing people to like have their own growth journeys. I'm just saying that I think that because I'm smart and capable and a go-getter, and because I've always been forced to figure things out on my own my whole life, that everybody else should too. And that's not don't be that way. I'm not saying that that's okay for me to think that way. I'm saying that I'm still learning how to not do that.
For me, it was a lot within my friendships, especially as a young person.
Yeah.
Because I was always wondering why I wasn't getting back the same energy.
Right.
And so my mom taught me from a young age. She's like, well, you're having expectations of someone and putting all your 110% effort, and they keep showing you that they're not doing that.
Right.
But you keep putting the 110%. So yeah, you're feeling tired and exhausted.
Yeah. And other people's 110% looks different. We also all love differently and give love differently. So it's like you might be extending something that you would like to receive, which is great. But to them, it's just like, oh, like they don't think of it because it's like it's not something that they appreciate. Whereas they could be doing things that they appreciate that aren't necessarily a priority for you.
That's very true. That's very true.
Number 12. If someone isn't telling you that they're upset with you, don't worry about it. We're not mind readers. And that's a big lesson that I learned, that is I have to let people communicate their thoughts and feelings and needs to me. I can't assume that everyone's mad at me, even if I'm getting the vibe, which I get a lot of vibes, you guys. Like, I'm a pretty intuitive person. Even if I'm getting the vibe that something's off, it's not my business until you make it known to me. I don't need to fill in the blanks. It's not my job to. And it's not your job to.
And don't let anybody tell you that it is either. When someone starts to tell you that it's your job to just know when they're upset, that's a cop-out, and that's avoiding accountability and personal responsibility for your own feelings. So if I say to Christina, well, I just don't understand why you didn't know that I was upset about something. Like, you should just know that by now because you just know me, and you should just know me really well because we've been best friends for 13 years, and I just should not have to tell you if I'm upset. No, that's not appropriate. And we're all in a space now, being grown and at our peaks, apparently, where we should be able to sit down, have the conversation, and say what upset us.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
It is simple. Does it mean it's not challenging? It's hard for me to sometimes tell people like, hey, you hurt my feelings, or this upset me, or whatever it was, this crossed a boundary. Those things aren't easy to do. It's just your responsibility to.
Right. It's not the other person's responsibility to guess.
Right. And hey, if you decide, you know what, it's either not worth it for me to communicate, or it's too scary for me to communicate, or too uncomfortable, then it's not the other person's problem. It's your problem. You can very well keep that thing to yourself, but then you have no right to be mad at them because they don't know.
That's probably the toughest part. That's probably the toughest part.
Period.
It's like, dang, if I don't communicate this, well, then I can't be mad that they don't know it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't say it.
Your feelings are still valid if they hurt your feelings, but you really can't hold the blame over them if they don't know. If they really don't know. Some people act like they don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're actually completely unaware that you're upset, that's one thing. If people are intentionally fucking with you, then that's a different story.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a whole different conversation, right?
Yes.
13. Give into your needs and wants sometimes as an act of self-love, and try to heal the shame that maybe comes with doing those things. So this is super specific to me. So if it doesn't apply, let it fly type thing. But a lot of the time I second guessed my choices or certain things that I was doing in my life because I was fearful that I would be judged by outsiders, whether that be immediate family, extended family, otherwise. But at the end of the day, when I did it, it was because it was a choice that brought me joy or made me happy or allowed me to honor myself without checking in with anyone else. It's like, because I have autonomy over myself. And I think that is an act of self-love, is choosing those things without getting an outsider opinion first.
Right.
Because it's for me.
Yeah.
So I don't need an outside opinion.
Right.
Because it doesn't affect anyone but me.
Yeah.
If it does affect other people,
right,
make sure you do the little checks and balances on that.
That's always a different story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think And that too can also be a cultural thing. Just from what I know of Hispanic households and Black households, it's almost like you're so regulated or watched, or they want to make sure that you're not doing the wrong thing, that you're not even allowed to make mistakes. So then you grow into an adult and you almost still feel like a child because everyone in your life is like trying to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
But you weren't even given the tools to make those decisions when you were younger.
Right. That's absolutely
So then
true.
you think that everything's a mistake.
Yes.
Or that everyone's going to be pissed off with anything that you do.
Right.
You can't please everybody. But it's like, why are we ingraining that in our kids and in our families? Even just like culturally, you know?
It's a very accurate observation.
And I think that it comes from a good place of like parents are like, well, I don't want them to make my mistakes.
Preparing
or I don't
for a
want them
scary
to be
world.
in danger. Yeah. But it almost does the opposite.
It's like I've been afraid to do anything my whole life. And so then when I start to make decisions and I realize this wasn't that bad of a choice or nothing really bad happened to me after I did this, or I'm exploring different things about myself and exploring different ideas that maybe don't necessarily align with how I grew up, nothing bad happened to me. I just learned something and I moved forward. And so that to me has been like, for the past 7 months now, have been talking about defining self-love for me. And I think a lot of it is just being able to make the choices for myself without having to check in with anyone and ask them if it's right or wrong, because I feel like it's right. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that.
Right. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Has there ever been a time in your life where you felt like you could freely make decisions up until now, like while you're like working on this? Has your past self ever had the freedom to just make decisions, no matter like if it was here with your parents or living out on your own, whatever?
I mean, not really. Like if I think about it,
Right.
not really. When something arises where I maybe want to do something or whatever, it was always with like, well, what if? Or what will happen if? What can happen if this? And so this, even as a grown person, it's just like, well, be careful because you're always being monitored. You know, you're always going to be held to a standard.
Yeah.
And I have personal standards that I uphold to, and I have personal morals and values that, of course, align a lot of the time with the culture and how I grew up, but some of them are not.
Right.
And I think learning that is okay was a tough part.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Right. That's the most freeing thing about being an adult. And I didn't go, well, I went away for college for 1 year, but it was to Bible college, so that doesn't count. I went to university, but I lived at my parents' the whole time. And so I never got that going away to college,
Me either.
being on my own and being a young person who is just making whatever choices that I want.
Yeah.
Still in like a safe-ish container. Like not, I wouldn't necessarily say safe because like shit happens at universities all the time, but like
sheltered.
Yeah, you're not just like out in the world, you know, you're like around other kids your age and like there is an institution, there is some rules, you know, I never had that experience. So I didn't really like feel that. And I mean, my parents weren't, the older that I got, they weren't like overbearing. I think that I also just stopped asking. I just started doing. I didn't really, I would just stop cluing them in on what I was doing because I was like, I just don't want to hear the opinion or the no. But when I moved out of my parents' house, it's like that freedom that I experienced of like, oh, I can go anywhere, do anything, say anything, whatever I want and not have to tell anybody, ask permission, nothing.
Yeah. I started to feel that way, I guess, around the age of 24, which was when I first like really, really moved out. Like I had been here and there and staying with family, but mostly with my parents throughout my college years. But yeah, I had the same exact experience. And it was interesting because it was like I had moved to LA, but I was still technically in school. So I was still kind of relying on my parents. So it still felt like there was someone to answer to, because when you don't have that full independence and you still rely on someone, especially financially, then a lot of the time you are met with questions, right? Because it's like, well, you need to be responsible with doing certain things. And obviously I agree to a certain extent.
my next one leans into that. It says, be, and then in parentheses, healthily skeptical and curious of everything. Not everything or everyone is as they seem. You don't have to believe what everybody else does or take everyone's word for it. I think that just comes from like growing up in the Christian faith, and I wasn't even really allowed to know about other religions because they were just bad. You don't need to know about Islam. You don't need to know about Mormonism or anything because they're just bad. Like this is the right one. So like you're lucky that you were born into the right one. You know? So it's like it took me a long time to figure this out, but just I was always curious and I always asked why, and I always had this possibility even very, very young. I remember telling my mom at 7 years old, like, the world could be fair if everybody just does what they're supposed to do. You know? Yeah. I always had this like philosophical thinking outside the box kind of brain, but it was just discouraged in the religion that I was in. And so it wasn't until I kind of like got cracked open that I was like, oh, nothing bad's going to happen to me if I explore a different school of thought or if I just choose to not, you know, believe in the same politics as my family members or XYZ, fill in the blank of anything. I don't have to agree with my friends, my coworkers. I can just disagree. I can think differently. Yeah. And that's my thing, is being skeptical, because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of veils out there in the world, in the media, especially in social media. And so not everything is as it seems. And if you question things, that's okay. Yeah. It's okay to question.
And then oftentimes, like, when you question things, I think we just had this experience recently where you're thinking of, just to give a specific example, let's say you're thinking a person is a certain way, right? And then you're like, oh, but I have some feelers up, you know? That's a healthy way to be skeptical. Yeah. And then that breeds curiosity. And then you form a question and you're like, I have a question for you. You ask the question, they answer, and you get insight. And you're like, oh, it wasn't even what I thought. Healthy way to be skeptical of something.
Absolutely. A lot of the great change makers of our world, people who like have made advances in science and philosophy and art and any industry, fill in the blank, have been skeptics. You have to be a skeptic in order to change things. It just is the way it is.
Yeah. Change isn't bred from doing the same thing as everybody else.
Right.
It's doing something different. That's why it's called change. 15. This one is pretty plain and simple, but one of my biggest lessons is always make your own money. I don't really care who you are. I don't care where you come from. I don't care how you do it. Right now, because of the smoke and mirrors, it's really important to have some type of financial cushion for yourself and trying your best. There's ebbs and flows to life where you are going to need to maybe rely on other people to kind of help support you in certain ways. But I've just learned one of the biggest lessons that was honestly taught to me from a really young age by my mom was you cannot rely on someone else to support you or your lifestyle. You need to always have your own income. And I always knew that, and I always did that, until I didn't have the opportunity to do that. And then I definitely learned that lesson the hard way. And I'll just leave it right there.
Yeah, it's okay to learn hard lessons. 16, I learned from a book that, this is going to sound so fucking cliche, but it really did change my life, and it changed the way that I think about my thoughts. Thinking about my thoughts there's a book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's a very popular book. I'm not special in any way. Like a lot of people have like read this book and decided to change their life.
Very special.
Well, thank you. I'm saying I'm not special in the way of like, oh, this book, it just changed my life. Like, oh my God.
Introducing a book
that
everyone has ever heard of.
Eckhart Tolle? Like, yeah, everyone and their motherfucking mother has heard of Eckhart Tolle. But
you know Dr. Phil.
But just learning and realizing that the brain is, while it is a very important and advanced organ, is just another organ in your body, and you are not your thoughts. And you are actually, your personhood and who you are isn't your brain. It's your soul. It's your essence. It's your character, your energy. And so, yeah, just like not feeling like what's going on in your brain, which in my case, because I have OCD, is always a fucking lot, is not who you are. That's it.
I don't think that one's on my list yet, girly. We'll get there. Eckhart, call me. Is he alive?
Yeah, I think he's still alive.
Perfect. 17. The timeline that society creates for us is a false narrative. We talk about this a lot. We'll continue to talk about it. Wherever you are in your timeline is where you are in your timeline. And that is where you're supposed to be. If you're 25, no, you're not supposed to be married and have kids. You're just doing what you're doing at 25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're 35, no, you're not supposed to have a really prestigious career and be established and have $100,000 in your 401k. You're just doing what you're doing at 35 because everyone's on their own timeline. Mm-hmm. And whatever society tells you you're supposed to be doing is false, because I promise you, whoever followed that timeline is probably very unhappy.
Exactly. And back to my smoke and mirrors concept, it's like, question why society wants you to believe that that's the echelon of what you should have at this age. Mm-hmm. Just a little nugget. Mm-hmm. Next, and this one, I'm not going to look at you because I might get emotional, but
Great.
What I've learned recently in this year, in last year, 2024, is that some of the biggest gifts are the things in the in-between moments. Mm-hmm. And when I'm saying that, I'm saying a lot of things. Just, I mean, when I moved to San Diego, like just being able to like, after work, I'm just going to go to the beach and watch the sunset because I want to. You know, those little things. But more specifically, getting to watch your daughter grow up is something that's so special and is like a gift that I could never put a price tag on. Mm-hmm. Getting to watch a child from a certain age grow through all of their different stages and not even just watch it, but also just like be involved and be a person that's important to them is like so special. I can't even define how special of a gift that is.
That's
so that true. That is my lesson, is just taking, instead of always thinking of the goals, I need to get myself here. It's like all those little things in between, you know, dancing in your kitchen during cleaning day and, you know, all of the different connections and like getting to hear people's stories. Your grandma was telling me her story at Thanksgiving and I was like, wow, this is just so special. That like somebody like that I have the time that this person is taking the time to tell me about their past. It's just like, it's like little things that you can never get back and never can buy.
Yeah, it's true. It's a treat. And then to realize that you're trustworthy enough of a person to be able to hear someone's story that has a lot of weight to it. Because when you consider my grandma being nearly 80 years old, you would imagine how much life she's lived and how many things she's experienced.
Yeah.
Good and bad. And I understand why you didn't look at me. Thank you so much, because that would have both ended both of us in tears on my birthday. Speaking of birthdays, she just turned 4.
Yes.
Speaking of growth.
Yeah.
That's my Capricorn twin. 19. 17, 18, 19. Anyway, there's no right way to tie your shoelaces. I've been shamed my whole life. And that is a lesson I've learned. I will no longer be shamed for tying my shoelaces with 2 bunny ears, because that's how I like to do it. And that's how I get a tight knot. And I don't want to do it the other way. I don't want to loop it around. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't give me a tight knot and I don't like it.
Period. Why did we have to, like, why were we taught that we had to do it a certain way? Also, why was bunny ears acceptable up to a certain age and
that's
then it wasn't?
what it is.
Like, why?
Why are you going to teach me bunny ears if I have to stop doing bunny ears when I'm like 7? And then I have to do the grown-up way to tie my shoelaces? No, bunny ears till I die, bitch.
It doesn't
That's
matter.
my lesson.
It's tying your shoes. It's like literally the smallest thing.
Exactly.
That's so stupid.
I still get comments on how I tie my shoelaces.
That's weird. Also, it's weird that people are commenting. Like, I don't notice how people tie their shoes.
Tie your shoelaces however you please.
Right.
And if I have one comment telling me that I can't tie shoelaces, if I have one person say it, deleted.
You said 19? Okay. Yeah.
20.
20. So I've talked about this on the podcast before, so I won't go super in depth with it, but it's okay to grow up and want bigger things for your life. I mean, I grew up in a very small town, like 6,000 people, but there's always something so special about going home, or it's just something special about your hometown in general. And I didn't realize it until my 30s. I hated my hometown. When we moved to Vegas, I was sad because I was leaving my friends and the people that I'd known literally my whole life, my entire social circle, everything that I knew. But I was like, peace the fuck out, motherfuckers. Like, I'm tired of this little like town where everybody knows everything about me. And I feel like I'm being watched. Maybe that's where that fear came from. Because I grew up in a very small town.
Where that a lot of it was true.
Right.
You were.
Right.
Everyone knows everyone about everything. Hence the story about the Glinda cup.
Yes.
The Glinda cup. See?
And that's the thing is like everybody, oh, well, I saw that this person went to the pizza place with this guy last night and they were there till 1 a.m.
Oh,
and there was some suspicious activity coming from their car. It's like shit like that. It's like, let everybody live.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it stems from. Yeah. But it is a very special place that I hold in my heart. When I moved to Vegas, it obviously is like a huge city that's a melting pot and so much going on and it's fast and it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And that was just such a different experience for me as a young person, you know, being 15 years old. I was just so excited to get out of where I was. But now when I go back home to visit my parents, I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice.
I love lake. I love boat.
I love dog.
I know. I always get a lot of pictures. I get so many pictures when she's back home and I love it.
Yeah.
21. We say this all the time again, but something that I'm continuing to learn that I haven't fully learned yet. Find a safe spot or a safe person, I suppose, to express your weird quirks. Again, alongside this concept of without judgment. So when you
feel like you haven't found a safe person or you haven't learned the lesson. I'm like, what about me, bitch?
No, I haven't learned the lesson. You know, it's almost like I definitely am 100% comfortable and fully myself, and all my weird shit comes out. I think having my daughter and understanding how weird she is, I think being able to nurture that and reciprocate it back with my weirdness has been good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you guys are probably both my safe people. To just be like, that's just weird.
Yeah.
And then when I am weird, she calls me by my first name, which we have discussions about because we don't do that here.
22. Everything changed when I learned how to use my voice and stand up for myself. Period. Mic drop. I don't even really have much to expound on that.
And my 23 is stand up to bullies.
Bitch.
Not it being the same number.
Us sinking.
Divine alignment.
Sinking.
Divine alignment. What did I say about twin flames earlier? I don't know if I have one or not. I don't know. I feel like
I don't know.
I'm making up my own rules, and if I want more than one, then I'm gonna meet the same people, multiple people in multiple timelines. How about that?
Yeah.
24.
This is one that I live by, and I'm trying. I can't always control what's in my brain, you guys. I have OCD. I think things that I don't want to think. But as far as speaking things out loud, writing things, typing things, talking to people, you know, having integrity with your words is very important to me. And I think it's very important just in life and the universe. I've seen so many times things I've spoken out loud come true. And I don't want the bad shit to come through. So I just don't say things out loud that I do not resonate with.
A lot here, even just in this household. She'll say something and then a couple days later we'll be like, hello? So my mom always jokes, why can't you just say that we won the lottery?
For real. For real.
She's like, I've been saying it.
I mean, hey, I did have a dream the other day that I traded in my RAV4 for a G-Wagon. So
that's right. It was a G-Wagon?
It was a G-Wagon.
Oh, I thought it was like a different Mercedes for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
25. Learn to love quality time with yourself and take yourself on dates.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't treat yourself the way that you want to be treated, no one will do it. You have to show yourself how you want to be loved. Love on you.
Mine is aligning because my next one is no one else will love you, consider you, take care of you, or fulfill you the way that you can for yourself. And it's okay to put yourself first. We're aligning.
It's alignment. Next, start over and then do it again until it stops bothering you.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. My next one is starting over isn't a failure. It's a gift that not everybody can afford. Because think about it. Not everybody has the liberty to start over.
Yes.
They have things tying them down. They have families. They have expectations, responsibilities.
I suppose mine is more like when you're forced to.
Okay.
When you're forced to.
Mine is a choice.
Okay.
But also when you're forced to, too.
When you're forced to in the way that it's like, there's nothing else for me to do but to completely start fresh.
Yeah.
It's okay if that continues to happen. And it might be continuing to happen so that you can feel comfortable with the amount of change that will occur throughout your life.
Yeah.
Forever and all of eternity.
The cream of the crop. It's rising. It's rising. You got to keep scooping off the bad shit. And eventually you're just going to get to the top.
I like that. Share the things that bring you joy. Music taste, art, activities. Things that bring you joy, things that you enjoy doing. Share those things.
Yeah.
And destigmatize things that, back to my weird thing, that maybe other people don't really like to do, or that it's maybe like a smaller community of people who enjoy it. For me, that's people who enjoy and love anime. I don't understand it, and that's okay, because it's not for me to understand, because it's not my community, it's not my group.
Right, but I'm so happy for them.
I love how much they love it.
Absolutely.
Because I love things deeply as well.
Yeah. I look at it on the outside. I'm like, oh, that's so cool that you cosplay and you go to conventions and stuff. Like, do I want to do that? No. But I think it's cool that you do.
Yeah. The conventions, the effort and the time that it takes to becoming that character. I understand that the characters are very loved and they're very developed. I love it. I love it if you love it.
Exactly. Are our brains just on the same wavelength? Are we fucking telepathic? Because my next one is be fiercely open about the things that make you weird and interests that light you up. The world is too dark and serious. There's no need to deny yourself joy. Don't care what the fuck it is.
I swear to Jesus year, we did not do this together.
We didn't. We did separate exercises. This is not a group project.
It is independent work.
Yes.
Look, mine even is in my journal.
Yeah. And mine is on my phone.
Which I guess doesn't really prove that we didn't do it together. But still, it's separate.
Yeah. If there's any bitches that are used to being bullied for what they like, it's us. And here we are.
Yeah. Literally.
Now everybody's hopping on the train. Now all of a sudden everybody loves Joe Jonas and everybody's listening to One Direction. And you know what I mean? It's like
coming out of the woodwork. Like, we've got the people in the Black community coming out of the woodwork saying, I've always loved 5 Seconds of Summer. I'm like, where were you? Where were you?
We were like some of the only, well, no, there were a lot of other brown bitches out there.
There were some brown bitches, but it's just like,
the
solidarity would have been nice back then in the day.
Right. Why? So I was so made fun of.
So now that you're in the TikToks and you're sharing your ass, go to the show.
Pull up.
Wear a shirt.
Listen to it in the car with a family member.
I made a shirt. That's how serious my shit got. I cut it out of plaid fabric and I sewed it on. Another thank you to Mrs. Butler in 6th grade home ec class.
Period. You learned a lot of lessons from Mrs. Butler.
We'll have to send her the episode. We will. Last one, which is choosing myself is and was an act of peace. Finn, I will not elaborate.
Oh, okay. My last one. My last one is life is a video game. Nothing really is that serious. The best times of my life have been when I keep my consciousness high and ask the universe, just show me how good it gets, bitch. Keeping that positive, optimistic, the best case scenario in your mind. Mm-hmm. One, you're just so much happier moving through life that way. Mm-hmm. And two, you're just inviting for more good things to happen. And like I said, I'm in a fucking video game. It doesn't matter. I'm just figuring shit out. I'm trying to get to the next level, you know?
Might as well enjoy it.
I'm defeating Bowser. Like, I'm doing the fuck I need to do. I'm bouncing on mushrooms. Yeah. Yeah. None of this matters.
Nah.
I mean, it does. You know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't matter enough for you to be caught up.
The lasting things matter. You know, like the community, the conversation, the connection, love, energy. That matters. I'm just saying, like, your everyday, like
the daily dilly-dallies.
We're Sims. Mm-hmm. We're playing The Sims.
I would love to know who's playing me. Because I really want to ask them, what the fuck is up, Kyle?
Yeah. Is this my karma for like putting people in a room and burning them on The Sims? Is this my karma?
The way that our experience with Sims was so different. I tried so hard to keep my Sims alive. And then to the point where it's like, if they accidentally died and the Grim Reaper showed up, I would get another family member to like plead for their, for them to stay alive.
Were you making realistic, like I made my family on The Sims?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I was living my life for real and also in a video game.
I made Zac Efron.
I love my life so much that I'm living it twice, bitch.
I made Zac Efron on The Sims and then married him and had his babies.
See? Exactly. I love
Deja vu
that.
moment. I feel like I've said that before, but I don't think I have. That's weird. This was meant to happen. Aligned moment.
She's been here before on this green velvet couch talking about marrying Zac Efron at The Sim. I believe it. I know that you probably dreamt this. And our last one is together.
Together.
Together. Hug together.
Yeah, so, I mean, 33 is an odd number, so we split it, but then that gets us to 32. And 33, we thought, well, why don't we come up with a lesson that we've learned together in life? And now,
Our last lesson learned together, I guess, through our friendship with one another and friendships outside of ours together would be that it is okay to have moments in your lifetime where you have larger groups of friends and that feels important to you, and that's okay. And it is equally as important and not to be diminished when within your life path, wherever you find yourself, you have the one singleton, and the singleton is yours and you're theirs.
yeah,
Nurture that and put love into that.
it's very special and it's very rare to have somebody who you're never competing with, jealous with, afraid to like tell them things or feel like you have to hide certain parts of yourself, and you can have hard conversations and it doesn't leave a lasting grudge or resentment or anything. Like, you can have hard conversations, you can have deep conversations, you can have happy conversations, you share interests. Like, that is really hard to find in one person. And so when you do find it in one person, love them, cherish it, respect it, and nurture it.
And know that, like, not everything is going to be perfect.
Right.
You're not always going to be able to do everything right within that friendship.
Right.
But the transparency is super important there.
Yeah.
Um,
And that is it.
ta-da.
I love you, bitch.
I love you too, bitch.
On your birthday, I'm gonna
My
light
baby.
the... Oh,
She's older than me, but she's always my baby.
for real. By what? Is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? I think 3 weeks.
3 weeks, something like that. We both understand what it's like to have birthdays around Christmas.
Yeah.
Fuck, it sucks. And with that, let us pray. Spirit, grant me the serenity to continue to learn life lessons.
The courage to live out my 33rd year to the fullest.
And the wisdom to not try a bitch when they don't celebrate my birthday with me.
And so it is. Yes. I love that. For those of you who can't see, she just took a huge bite out of the cake. And I love that energy. I'm going to do the same. Did it mess up your makeup?
I didn't. One time for the birthday, bitch. One time for the birthday, bitch. Bye.
Bye, feelers.
That's really good.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's EA meeting.
If you liked this episode, please share it with a friend and leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple or Spotify. We'd love to hear from you.
You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Empaths Anonymous Pod.
Don't forget to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts or subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so you're the first to know when we release a new episode.
We'll meet you back here on the Green Velvet Couch next time.
Bye, feelers!